Okay, let's dive in. You handed us the latest weekly newsletter from Andrew Kagan.
Yep. Random technical news you can possibly use, the one from May 23rd, 2025.
Right. And our mission basically is to sift through this list, this curated stack of links.
And pull out the really key stuff, the must-know nuggets, maybe a few surprises for you.
Exactly. Think of it as your shortcut through the week's tech updates.
Yeah.
Saves you wading through everything.
For sure. It covers so many different areas: cloud, AI, security, even hints of quantum computing. We want to give you the important signals, without all the noise.
And we're going to stick pretty close to Andrew's structure here. Start with the big conferences.
Right. Build an I/O.
Then drill down into specifics: Azure, Microsoft 365, Power Platform,
DevOps, data.
security, and then wrap up with some of those broader industry trends. It's kind of a snapshot of tech right now.
Yeah, it's a good way to see how things connect, how the big announcements filter down into products and trends.
Totally. So speaking of the big announcements, Andrew kicks off with those two huge conferences, Microsoft Build 2025 and Google I/O 2025, just wrapped up.
Yeah, starting there makes sense. It sets the stage. These are where they unveil their big strategies.
So for Microsoft Build, the newsletter points to Satya Nadella's keynote.
Right, the opening keynote video and also their book of news.
Which is pretty comprehensive usually.
Oh, yeah. If you want the high-level Microsoft view, especially on AI and what they're doing for developers, those are the places to look.
Got it. So minimum time. Watch the keynote or skim the book of news.
Pretty much. And same idea for Google I/O. The newsletter links their main keynote video and a summary article, From Research to Reality.
From research to reality. I like that framing.
It's Google showing what's actually, moving out of the labs and into products people can use.
Okay, so looking at both Build and I/O, was there like one dominant theme cutting across both?
Oh, absolutely. AI still. But the conversation's shifting,
How so?
It's less about just saying AI and more about embedding it really deeply into how developers work, making it more personal.
It's personal.
Like tuning it to you,
Yeah.
and building these frameworks for AI agents. Both Microsoft and Google hammered home that AI isn't like just another feature, it's becoming a fundamental layer.
Right, okay. That definitely sets the scene. Let's move from that big picture then into some specifics, starting with Azure.
Sure. So Andrew includes a general Azure update video from mid-May. Good kind of catch-all for the incremental stuff.
Okay.
But he also flags a couple of things that feel particularly relevant right now.
Like what? I saw the Entra ID update.
Yeah. What's new in Entra ID June 2025? And that other one, defeat deepfakes and imposters with verified ID and face check.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
It really is. Entra ID first, that's Microsoft's whole identity and access management thing. Super critical, how you prove who you are online, what you can access. Updates there are always about, strengthening that digital security.
Makes sense.
Oh.
But the deepfake thing, that feels urgent.
It is urgent. Think about it. AI-generated video, audio, used for scams, corporate spying, messing with opinions. It's a huge risk.
Yeah, scary stuff.
So this tech, verified ID and face check, it's an attempt to fight back, using verifiable credentials, maybe tied to biometrics, to give you more certainty that the person you're dealing with online is actually them. It's a direct countermeasure to a big AI-driven threat.
Definitely something to watch. Okay, let's shift over to Microsoft 365.
Right. So for developers working in that space, there's an update on the SharePoint framework, version 1.21, important for that specific crowd.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, like you said before, the main focus is clearly Copilot again.
Yeah, the links are about fine-tuned models to write like you do, and Copilot tuning multi-agent orchestration.
And that idea of tuning Copilot to write like you, that's fascinating, isn't it?
It is. So it's not just generating text, it's learning my style.
Exactly. Your tone, your vocabulary. Imagine getting drafts that actually sound like they came from you.
That's a whole other level of personalization. How does that even work? Is it reading all my emails?
Well, the sources would have the details, but generally, yeah, it involves training on your data, your writing patterns, with privacy controls, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
And that other bit, multi-agent orchestration, that points towards Copilot not just being one thing, but maybe coordinating multiple specialized AIs to help you tackle complex stuff within M365.
Okay, interesting glimpse into where productivity tools are heading. Let's switch gears again. Power Platform and Dynamics 365.
Okay, first up, for anyone doing data visualization, there's the Power BI May feature summary. Always key for seeing the latest tweaks and features there.
Right. And, surprise, surprise, AI and Copilot are huge here too.
Totally. The newsletter lists things like Copilot Studio for Power Platform makers, AI and power apps, reimagining human-agent collaboration.
What's the angle here? Is it different from M365?
Well, the focus seems really strong on the makers, people building those low-code or no-code apps and workflows. The idea is using AI, using Copilot to make it even easier. Like, you describe what you need, and AI helps build it.
Kind of democratizing app building even more.
Exactly. And that reimagining human-agent collaboration title, it suggests, it's not just about automating tasks away.
But AI working with you.
Yeah, like an AI agent collaborating with a person on a business task, maybe in Dynamics 365 for sales, or using Power Automate for processes, a partnership model.
Okay, let's keep moving. DevOps, SRE, and infrastructure.
This section kicks off with something foundational, an introduction to observability.
Which is super important these days.
Critical, especially with complex distributed systems. It's basically understanding what's happening inside your system by looking at the data it produces, logs, metrics, traces. You can't troubleshoot modern apps without it.
Absolutely. Then there's some specific news. Netez joining the CNCF sandbox.
Yeah, that's notable in the Kubernetes world. K-Zerius is a lightweight Kubernetes version, good for edge computing, places where you don't have tons of resources.
Okay.
And the CNCF, the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, is home to Kubernetes itself. The sandbox is like an entry level for promising projects. So K-Zerius joining means it's getting recognized, gaining traction.
Gives it more visibility, legitimacy.
Definitely. And then, sticking with the AI theme, we see it creeping into the very beginning of the development process.
How so?
There's a link. How to use Gene AI for requirements gathering and agile user stories.
Wow. So using AI not just to write code, but to figure out what code to write in the first place.
Exactly. Potentially speeding up those early stages, understanding user needs, structuring the project, shows how pervasive this is becoming.
Okay, next up, data, analytics, and AI. This section looks pretty packed in the newsletter.
It really is. Reflects just how fast things are moving here. Right away, there's news about a major new model, introducing Claude 4 by Anthropic.
Another big AI player.
Yep. The landscape keeps shifting. New models, new capabilities constantly emerging. It's not just OpenAI and Google.
And Microsoft's own platform, Fabric, gets an update.
Right, the Fabric May 2025 feature update. Important for anyone using Fabric for their data and AI work. And Andrew also includes some practical hands-on guides here, too.
Like the Docker guide for data scientists.
Yeah, Data Scientist's Guide to Docker Containers. Useful for packaging and deploying data science setups. And there's also OpenAI Codex launch fully agentic coding in ChatGPT.
Agentic coding, what does that mean?
It points towards AI being able to handle more complex coding tasks more independently, not just suggesting snippets, but potentially taking on bigger chunks of work, acting more like an agent doing the coding.
Interesting. And that seems related to another link. Chat with your data fabric and SAS database insights.
This is a huge trend, making data easier to access. The idea is using natural language powered by AI to ask questions of your data.
So instead of writing SQL.
Right, you just ask in plain English. Show me sales trends for Q1. Whether it's in Fabric or other databases, it opens up data insights to way more people.
That could be massive.
Okay.
Shifting to a really critical area, security, compliance, and privacy.
Absolutely non-negotiable topics. The newsletter highlights a few key themes here.
Mm-hmm.
AI Trism, Zero Trust Security, and digital transparency versus AI privacy.
AI Trism, what's that?
It stands for AI Trust, Risk, and Security Management. Basically, as AI gets more powerful, we need ways to manage the risks that come with it.
Like bias.
Oh.
Or security holes in the AI itself.
Exactly. Bias, security, explainability. AI Trism is about putting governance and controls around AI systems, making them trustworthy.
Got it. And zero trust, we hear that term a lot.
It's fundamental now.
Yeah.
The security model that basically says, trust no one, verify everyone. Doesn't matter if you're inside or outside the network perimeter, every access attempt needs checking. The link points to best practices for actually doing that.
And the last one, digital transparency versus AI privacy boundaries.
That captures that constant tension, right? We can gather and analyze more data than ever, transparency in a way. But AI also lets us infer so much from that data, potentially crossing privacy lines. It's about finding that balance between openness and protecting individuals, a huge ongoing challenge.
Absolutely. And there's a specific tool update mentioned too.
Yeah, for the security pros, consuming Defender for cloud data with XDR Advanced Hunting.
XDR.
Extended detection and response. It's about pulling security data from lots of different places, endpoints, cloud, email, to get a bigger picture for hunting down threats. This update is about using Defender for cloud data within that wider XDR hunting tool.
Makes sense. Okay, nearly there. Next section, learning and certifications.
Yeah, given everything we've just talked about, keeping skills up to date is crucial. This section points to some resources.
Like guides on OpenAI's Codex.
Yep, a guide with 3 practical examples.
A roadmap for learning AWS.
How to start learning AWS practical roadmap.
And something called LangGraph.
LangGraph for beginners AI agent framework. Yeah, these are practical paths. Learning AI coding with Codex, getting AWS fundamentals down, or starting to build AI agents with frameworks like LangGraph. All really relevant skills right now.
Good to see concrete learning resources in there. Okay, finally, the last section, broader industry news and trends.
Right, this zooms out a bit. Andrew includes a quote from Eric Schmidt's TED Talk. The AI revolution is underhyped.
Underhyped? Really? Feels like it's everywhere.
I know, but his point, I think, is that even with all the noise, we might still be underestimating the long-term fundamental impact AI will have across everything.
That's a sobering thought.
It is. The newsletter also mentions the OpenAI Codex news again here, but frames it as a big industry move embedding AI coding agents into tools like ChatGPT. It signals a real shift in how development might work.
And then things get really futuristic. Quantum stuff.
Yeah, this is fascinating. 2 items. China Telecom launches hybrid quantum-safe encryption system.
Quantum-safe encryption, so preparing for quantum computers breaking current crypto.
Exactly. Building systems now that can resist attacks from future quantum computers. It's proactive security.
And the other one, connecting quantum processors.
Scientists connect quantum processors over fiber first time ever. This is huge, fundamentally. It's a basic science and engineering breakthrough, a step towards building quantum networks, maybe even distributed quantum computing down the line.
Wow. Okay, so we've gone from, like, managing logins in Azure and tuning Copilot
to building low-code apps, observability, AI, triarism.
Learning AWS, and now connecting quantum processors over fiber. That's quite a range from one newsletter.
It really shows how much is happening all at once, doesn't it? And getting this kind of curated summary is, well, it's pretty valuable. It hits the highlights across the board without you needing to track dozens of sources.
Totally. So after running through all of that, what's the one thing that really sticks out to you? The main takeaway?
For me, it's that combination. On one hand, you have AI becoming deeply integrated right now, like that Copilot tuning or AI helping with requirements. But then sort of simmering underneath, you have these fundamental breakthroughs in quantum, connecting quantum processors, making quantum safe encryption. These aren't just small updates. They genuinely hint at a different kind of future for computing and security. It feels like the groundwork for the next big shift is already being laid, even while we're still figuring out the current AI revolution.
It really makes you think, what does that future look like?
Yeah.
And which of these things, when we talk about the AI agents, the deepfake defenses, the quantum progress, which one is going to hit closest to home for you, next year or two?
Yeah, definitely a lot to chew on.
Well, thanks for walking us through Andrew Kagan's newsletter. Hopefully this deep dive helps you stay a bit more informed in this crazy, fast-moving tech world.